I'm a shy guy getting a taste of his dreams during the first 2 weeks of March. Now it's time to cover men's and women's skeleton, which happened on March 6th and 7th. But first we need to pack our signs and grab our cowbell. Then we need to get our footwear together. For me, I went the ski jumper route and grabbed a drop bag to carry one of two shoes. When I was in the lodge, I wear these tennis shoes. When I was out climbing the hill, I grabbed these boots with clamp-ons. Inside the lodge, there was a section for the championship merch. Once we're outside the lodge, we can see the tracks. This massive tent right here, located at the heart, is the festival tent. As we make our way to the finish line, we stop by the Buffalo Bill and Orta collab bobsled that was used to advertise the event. Inside the tent, there was music from DJs, bands, memorabilia, classic bobsleds, vendors selling big pretzels and drinks, which I had one too many pretzels, a caricature artist, and this board showing the Lake Placid world and Olympic medalist. There's Steve Holcomb right over there. There was an autograph signing session on day one where you could have an autograph from Alana Myers or Kaylee Humphreys. I had Kaylee Humphreys sign my poster. Outside the festival tent and to the right around curb 14 were 3 food trucks. At the finish line loading deck, there was a massive USA flag mural that local students had helped create months ago. In attendance, besides alumni, family, friends, traveling fan groups, Can-Am, which is the Canadian American Hockey Leagues that comes every weekend here in Lake Placid, there was also the Adirondack school system, which had 15 schools send 700 students to Mount Van Hovenberg. They definitely kept the venue full during the events, especially in the mornings. While the IBSF YouTube channel had Martin Haven and a guest athlete commentate on the event, the venue had Carl, Sarah, and Stu as our commentators. Stu was the guy who went around the venue in between races to interview people there. One of my close friends, Jordan Craig, was there to capture the magic of the competition. Another of my friends who works at the venue, Ryan Schneider, got a little screen time on the IBSF channel as he went to go pick up a missing glove off the track. Now on to the competition. Men's skeleton was the first event and it was delayed till 9:30 because of weather. Out of the two events, men's skeleton was the rowdiest because of two major fan bases. The Austin Florian fan base had the most creative signs and kept the audiences laughing and cheering throughout the event. Then, just as rowdy and energetic was the Axel Young German fan base with their t-shirts. With both fan bases combined, the area could get a bit deafening as there was slapping of the walls, slapping of the boards, yelling, and ringing of cowbells, of which one of Austin Florian's fans had a final boss type of cowbell. And not to mention Dan Barefoot's family and their creative flag in support of him. The IBSF guest commentator for the men's competition was USA skeleton athlete Sarah Roderick. In the first 2 heats of men's skeleton, both Great Britain and Germany stayed consistent with both their athletes being in the top 4. Matt and Antoine of Great Britain stayed consistent as the first place winner. Austin Florian would go from 10th place to 7th place. And Daniel Barefoot would stay in 14th place for both heats. Now on to the first 2 heats of women's skeleton. To some extent, this was an exciting rivalry. Picture Marta and Alex Morgan on a penalty kick but on ice. Instead, it's Mystic Rowe of USA and Nicole Salvieri of Brazil, just on push starts alone. In the first 2 heats, Nicole would go from 7th to 4th. Mystic Rowe would drop from 2nd place in the first heat to 4th place in the second heat, tying with Nicole. Kelly Curtis would go from 7th place in the first heat to 9th place in the second heat. Katie Ulander would stay in 12th in both heats. Kimberly Boss of Netherlands would go from 3rd place to 1st place in the first and second heat. This was the standing on day 1 of men's skeleton, and this was the standing of women's skeleton day 1 as well. On day 2 of competition, Matt's consistency to be number 1 in both heats gave him the trophy. Our guys, Austin Florian, stayed in 6th place for both heats. Daniel Barefoot went from 13th to 11th in both heats. Kimberly Boss won the Women's Skeleton World Championship on the second day, staying consistent both heats. Here she is with her family. On the second day for Mystique Rowe, she would go from third place to second place, winning a silver medal in the World Championship. Staying close behind her in both heats in fourth place is the Pan American champion of Brazil, Nicole Salvieria. Kelly Curtis would go from 8th to 10th in the last two heats, and Katie Eulander would stay in 13th in both heats. While waiting for the medal ceremony to begin, I was able to get an autograph from Mystique Rowe. Before our athletes could be awarded, the president of the IBSF gave awards out to distinguished volunteers. Then the medal ceremony began. First it was the men's skeleton ceremony, and lastly the women's skeleton award ceremony. In my next video I will skip over to the night event on Saturday 8th, which was the mixed skeleton relay. It was quite an emotional one for me.